All right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I told y'all that when God says it's time to end season one, okay, so I will make sure this is, yes, the CHA show, season one. This episode is the season finale for season one. There you go. And it is ending on a great note. So let me go ahead and while those notifications go on out, go ahead and let them, you know what I'm saying? As we do our usual check, sound check, things like that. Because God had, listen. As we do our usual check. There we go. Yep, volume was already up because we were using our music for podcast episodes. All right, there we go. Yeah. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for the CHA show, streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, and Facebook at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, and Michelle Dickey. Yes, I know you are not able to participate in the live chat on my personal profile. I do know, however, on replays you can leave comments. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put the comment section up over here. Let me go ahead and do a couple of other things. Yes, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center. Uh-huh. Okay, front and center. Mm-hmm. Never forget, trauma healing and spiritual growth occur with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true techniques, and more here and at CHAAcademyBTBW.com. That link is in the video description below for quicker access. So you all can hop on over there and check out what we have for you to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth. Like something God revealed to me recently. Oh, yeah, recently, because I was trying to do this. So, yeah, so I'm bringing it to y'all. And yes, a heads up for those who still have issues with people running ads. This show is structured as such, just like the Monday Motivational Show is now structured as such, because you all are not going to know what all CHA has for you if we don't let you know. Because we wear many hats. Chosen ones, spiritual warriors for Christ, are multi talented. And God put a lot on the inside of us that we can do to help others out here in the world. That's right. Okay, and so at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, that's what it's all about, right? Yeah, it's trauma healing from all that narcissistic abuse and trying to find our voice, figure out who we are in Christ, and oh, it's a whole process. And so part of it is we don't want to rush what's going to happen naturally. And I'm going to share with you all that, yes, because God had to step in, correct me, because I had a goal, and apparently the timing isn't right. I had a goal to break another habit, right? I do. That is a goal of mine, to break another habit. God told me. He had me do something to show me that it's not as bad as I'm thinking that it is. He said that this is a season for extra self care. And what that bad habit is, it has some healing components to it. Because through all of this, like, the extra self care season that we're in is so that God can show me things on a more intimate level about the biological makeup of this body. And it's absolutely fascinating. I never would imagine just how intricate and interconnected, if you will, things are with our biological makeup. It's fascinating to actually be able to experience. It is part of like a rebirth in a way, but I was just like, wow, okay. So I didn't see that, but I was trying too hard to break the habit that I thought was worse than it really is. He said, it's not. God said, no, it's not. God said, you did that activity. That number is nowhere near what the enemy wants you to think it is. And so what we realize when we're trying to do that, right, or we're trying to do something for improvement, right, we cannot force what will happen naturally. That's what God told me. When I was like, okay, how come I'm having a hard time getting to this number? I want to reduce that number. And he said, honey child, the number is already reduced. Let that sink in. He said that number is already reduced. And so now he has me on a salt intake challenge. He said, all right, I want you to write that down. Let's focus on that. He said, I got the other one. God said, don't you be fretting over that one. He said, that one has some healing components in it that you need right now. He said, but it's not as bad as you think. He said, so stop trying too hard. He said, the number's already reduced from when you were bouncing back and forth. He said that number's already reduced. He said it's going to continue because it did it on its own. That's what he was trying to tell me. He said, yeah, he said, when you put away the other bad habit, you finally got rid of it. He said that number reduced on its own. So let's focus on getting rid of another bad habit. Let's face it, y'all, we're human. We picked up some bad habits along the way. That's the way it is. We sure did. We picked up some bad habits along the way, and many of them were coping mechanisms for the abuse, right? The traumatization. So now that we're fully healed from the trauma, it's like, okay, I'm ready to break this stuff. And so he said, all right. Because I used to, I remember growing up, and I used to want to put extra salt on everything. This body don't like that. So he had me doing this challenge. It's not that it's a bad habit because I'm not intentionally ingesting more than necessary. It's just over the last, let's say, 8 months to a year, I was deviating a little too far off my blood type diet that I am supposed to be on. And now, yes, I had a vision of making my own all natural vegetable soups and all natural juices, fruit and vegetable. And God had me open up that cupboard once we made that conscious decision, okay, to get back on it. He had me open up that cupboard and he said, what's that? Blender. There's absolutely no reason why. He said, you are left without excuse. There's no reason why you can't do that now. And so, I got some mango juice, pineapple juice, a little bit of that vegetable juice left. We're going to make some more. Oh, yeah. Did some butternut squash soup. We're not adding nothing, no additives. We just eat on it until it's gone every day. Because that's how we got to get the nutrients back in, right? And so he has me estimating now, it's an approximate, to see if I can't get that intake of that particular electrolyte down, as low as possible in a day. Because what will happen is when we get that number down as low as possible, that speeds up the process of, over the last year or so, 8 months to give or take, that we were consuming more than we should have been. So now God is reversing. You see how God works. God is reversing, okay, as he restores. That's how he restores tenfold. And so for those of you who are trying to, don't try too hard. for breaking a habit or accomplishing any goal, because it's going to happen naturally. If it's meant to happen, it's going to happen naturally. And that's what God told me. So he said, forget about that little bad habit there. He said, that already decreased. It's going to decrease again naturally. He said, but I want you to face that challenge. Okay? So I want you to pay attention to that. He said, and let's focus on some other stuff from within and things like that. Examine some more. Okay. Is there some other little habit that we picked up that we want to get rid of as we are old things pass away? Remember, God is creating a new creature, right? When he awakened us, yeah, and we are reborn again. Oh yeah, all old things gonna pass away. That means old belief system, old ways of thinking. Oh my gosh, the list goes on. The old version of us, it don't exist no more. It can't. We've evolved too much. As chosen one in God's reality, we've come too far in the spiritual awakening. We've come too far. We can't go back. It's just not going to happen. Because you now know that low energy, vibing, narcissistic matrix is full of the traumatization. And we want nothing to do with it, right? Why would we? That's right. We want to heal, right? And those of us we are living testimonies that it can be done. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to notice it, that the more you, navigate through the matrix to get what you need to do God's perfect will, you're going to notice it, that strangers trying to get an emotional read on you, but they can't, because you learn how to manage and control your empathy, because we can do that. We get control of ourselves. So you're going to notice strangers doing things, weird things, right? But you know why they're doing it. Like they're going to try to come up real quick, get in your space, and see if they can irritate or annoy you. And you just kind of chuckle. They can't get nothing. So they don't know what to do. They got to go away. Because all they can sense from us, once we maintain our emotional regulation, right? We're protecting our peace and our spiritual energy, right? We're not emitting it out there anymore. As we navigate through, right? We're going to get them weird looks. Oh, yeah. You get used to it. You get used to it. So I want to throw that in. That's for somebody. So, yeah. And then we learn not to force what's going to happen naturally, because we can't do that. So when God revealed that, he's like, okay, it already happened once. Now examine some more. All right, what else can we break the habit of? Not a very big list left, I have to tell you. It is not a very big list. So he'll give me other challenges. He'll do the same for you. Like, shift your focus off of that, because you're trying too hard. Anytime we try too hard, we're not going to meet our intended goal. Let's say we set a goal, right? We have a number goal on this habit over here. But we're trying too hard to reach that number goal habit. And what we end up doing, I'm going to use cigarettes as an example. When we come back from a short break, you all, yes, stay tuned to learn more about why we don't want to try and force what's going to happen naturally when we come back. Individual consulting and coaching sessions are available every Tuesday through Sunday to help you overcome trauma, unpack that bag, or whatever you need help with. Sorting through the mud and the muck of being lied to about everything during the abuse takes time, and overcoming triggers is 100% possible. All individual consulting and coaching sessions are eligible for easy monthly payments using ShopPay at checkout. You can check the available days and times for individual consulting and coaching sessions on CHA's website at CDHRWDRMD.org and clicking on individual sessions in the navigation menu. The Godhead and I look forward to helping you overcome trauma, unpack that bag, or anything you need help with. Sending love and light always. All right. Welcome back. Thank you for understanding that we must do some advertising. That's right. Like I said at the very beginning, for those who didn't know. All right. And so, for those who need help, right, those individual sessions are there every week, Tuesday through Sunday. We can start, brainstorming. If you need help unpacking that bag, like I just said. So, we're going to help you overcome the triggers, whatever it is you need. Okay? And so we want to not force what's going to happen naturally. And so for those of us who have tried to quit smoking before we actually did, so for those who don't know that about me, yes, I quit smoking cigarettes in the beginning, somewhere in the beginning. I want to say it was like, it was March, April, somewhere in there, 2023. So, and I know this is November of 2023. So, and we're still, we quit. Well, because I had to tell myself it was a mental thing when I still had a few packs left. And I was telling myself, I'm not buying anymore. Because I had made up my mind, that's it. Because God said it's time. But for that, though, I had wanted to quit several times, right? Oh, yeah, I wanted to quit. So I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. This is a good example of why we don't want to force things that will happen naturally when they're supposed to, when the time is right. God knew my heart's desire was to quit smoking, but he also knew I was still in toxic workplaces. He knew that was one of my coping mechanisms. And so he also knew, some other things. But because I am fully healed from all the trauma, right? Nothing triggers me, y'all. Now, as the parasympathetic nervous system continues to do its thing with us, we are going to have the occasional reflex associated with some other thing. But I'm not living in fear, just so you all know that. 1 John 4:18, okay? It's just these things are waking up and my reflexes are, kind of coming back here and there. So if it happens during one of the videos, now you understand what's going on. All right, now, that being said, I remember wanting to quit, right? Several times before we actually did. And I was like, okay, I'm going to set this goal of no more than, let's say, 15 out of that pack for this day. What ended up happening was, that's right, I ended up smoking more than a pack. I averaged a pack a day, but I set that goal. I was trying too hard to force something that was but was going to happen naturally when it's time. And so at the beginning of 2023, things started to happen. I'm fully healed. Yeah, I've been fully healed. Yes, you all, for quite some time. The enemy don't want to accept that. But that's too bad. God is in full control. And so I'm sharing that with you all because that is exactly how it happened. And I was like, man, every time I set a goal, okay, and then I tried to get stricter with myself. All right, no more than 10 cigarettes today. Again, more than a pack. And so I was like, okay, we got to quit doing that. It's not going to work out. And so as soon as I quit trying to force it, it went back to averaging a pack a day. And over time, I found myself waking up with 2 left in that same pack from the day before, 3 left in that same pack from the day before. So it started happening naturally. And I didn't even really think about it. So that's your example to help y'all put it in perspective, because it's very important that whatever it is we're setting a goal for to break a habit, or setting a goal for, let's say, okay, here's a good one. By the end of 2023, I want to have 100 podcast episodes, right? This is November of 2023, right? I've got episode 50, right? I got episode 50 on Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, Simplecast, Listen Note, Stitcher, Deezer, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and more, y'all. For CHA's Truth Seeker Podcast, to pre-record, there's episode 50. If I go, I want to get 100 podcast episodes up by the end of 2023. Is that reasonable? No. That did not meet the definition of a SMART goal, right? So, right. So let me go ahead and pull it out for you all. This is how we gotta, learn. Part of learning to relive, really, in God's reality. And so I'm going to pull from to show you the SMART goal. SMART, right? Okay, so we are building CHA's Truth Seeker Podcast. Now, yes, we still go live with a Truth Seeker Podcast on Tuesday around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the YouTube channel only. For those who need that, okay? You can always join us for the live as well. And so, okay, SMART goal. S, specific, right? What do I want to accomplish? Okay, well, I want to get 100 podcast episodes up on Spotify, iHeart, all the other places by the end of 2023. Measurable? The M, right? How will I know when it is accomplished, right? Is it measurable? Well, I mean, yeah, you could. But you have to think about, okay, well, what else are we working on, right? With this ministry and the work. We have other live streams. We have the Patreon channel we're building. We have the other social platforms that we're building on, right? So, am I going to be able to have 100 episodes on that podcasting site by the end of 2023? So it's not achievable. So it's like, how can the goal be accomplished? Well, you're just going to have to let it happen naturally. I have a strategy up here. And so we will reach 100 episodes when we reach 100 episodes. It's just that simple. And it is relevant, yeah, because it's relevant to the ministry and the work, but time bound, right? When can I accomplish this goal? Well, it's going to be in 2024. I have to accept that. So in the achievable, there would be a big fat no for that one. So we'd have to rethink that plan, right? There you go. We'd have to rethink that. And that's very important, okay? Because if I try to force what's going to happen naturally over time anyway, because of the strategy we have in play, if I try to force that, that means I'm going to put more work on myself Because let's do the math even. Even if I were to upload one episode per day till the end of 2023, we've only got approximately what? Exactly. We've only got approximately 31, 40, let's say around 40-ish days left of the year, right? I know it's a few more than that. I'm only going to make, if I did that every day, I would only make it to roughly episode 90. Just to give y'all perspective. So yeah, I mean, I could do it, get close to 100 by the end of 2023. But then what does that say about all the other work we've got to do? Right? Because it's got to be manageable. I mean, yeah, I could stand here and record a 30-minute episode every single day. And I'm not saying that won't happen someday. It just depends. But a few times a week right now in November of 2023, throughout the rest of 2023, a few times a week is fine. Because we're going to eventually reach 100 episodes, right? It's going to eventually happen naturally. So we don't need to force that. But we have to take a look at, okay, what else are we doing? Right. Okay, live streaming more often. Right. And then we are, this season 1 of the CHA show. Okay. So now with this being season 1, we'll take a break as we plan season 2. Oh yeah. I'll let y'all know when that's coming. As we plan season 2, we'll be able to get other stuff that we were working on caught up. Because this just kind of came about as, okay, I wanted to make sure we still had some content coming to you all over here on Facebook as well. Since the Truth Seeker podcast and the Let's Just Chat show are just on the YouTube channel. That's what God told us to do. Because the Let's Just Chat, it originated on the YouTube channel. So he said that's where it belongs. And then the Truth Seeker podcast on the YouTube channel. But we also have, that's right, for those who would like to learn more about CHA's Truth Seeker podcast, that is on Spotify, iHeart, Pandora, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and more. You can easily find that. The website link is in the video description below, and so is the My Social page. CHA's social platform link also. If you go to that, you will see all the social platforms that we are on. But also, if you go to the website and in the navigation menu, the best way to find the CHA's Truth Seeker podcast that is pre-recorded and goes out, okay, click on CHA's Truth Seeker podcast page, right? That comes up and you'll see. And you'll also see listen notes and I don't recall the other one right offhand, but you'll see 2 embeds. You can even listen to it right from the website that way. So there's multiple ways for y'all to get those. The first 28 episodes on that platform are also the 28 one from the YouTube channel. I had to use something to get started. And so episodes 29 on up are pre-recorded with music, and the live stream are still on Tuesday. All right, everyone, thank you for understanding. Like, so you can easily catch those. But as you saw, how we got to have a goal, but we want it to be a smart, right? We want to analyze, is it going to work that way? Because we don't want to force things that will happen naturally. That's trying to get ahead of God, right? So it's time for another short break, right? Time for another short break. So stay tuned to learn more about why we don't want to rush to get ahead of God and force things that will happen naturally when we come back.
Are you ready to get better organized in thought and action to level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth? The 5P coaching course at CHA Academy is for you. You will learn the tried and true techniques that will help you get better organized in thought and action to get things done effectively and efficiently. Once you begin putting the 5Ps in action, you will quickly see how they often work together simultaneously. Once enrolled in the course, you receive lifetime access to the course materials and the community forum where masterclasses are available at no additional cost. You can learn more about the 5P coaching course at CHAacademybtbw.com and click on all courses. Thank you for enrolling. Sending love and light always.
All right. Welcome back. Thank you for understanding. But that was the appropriate app since I had just showed you all. Okay, because those SMART goal worksheets are in every one of the P's in the workbooks. Because, like I just broke it down for you, right? About reaching 100 podcast episodes by the end of 2023 and how it's not achievable. And so that's how we go, okay. And that right there, those workbooks are going to help you. Yeah, are going to help you not force what's going to happen naturally. Now, we are still going to learn some lessons along the way, okay? Like like I said at the very beginning where, exactly, I had the number goal set for this other thing over here, but God's like, it's already reduced. It will reduce on its own naturally, like it's supposed to. So he wants me to focus on another challenge as we continue to, that dietary reset. So for those of you who embark on that, as far as the dietary reset or changing your diet altogether, same thing applies. Right? You don't want to force, because let's say you do it for weight loss. Seriously, tried and true. Many years ago, when I was an over-the-road trucker, okay, yes, my mid to late 20s, and I did, of course, on a weight loss regimen because I did put on some pounds. I put on some pounds as a trucker. Not a whole bunch to where it was like super noticeable or anything. Well, it was to others. To me, it was just enough to make me go, okay, hold up a second. This is a little out of my zone. I don't like this. But what I did is I tried to force things that would have happened naturally by overdoing. And I ended up all the way down to a size 0. And that was not healthy. So basically, what I did at that time was not the healthy way for losing weight at all. Because it turned out that later on, I was like, okay, I had to get myself back to my regular size. And so I had to start putting on some weight. But what we did with that was we just started putting things back in our diet that we took out because we were trying to force the process. And we ended up way too under. And so there you go. So then the second time I embarked on it, I was not on the blood type diet yet. But let's face it, things in season, y'all. Right? Things in season. However, God revealed to me that now this is the season forevermore. For as long as we can do it. To stay on this diet no matter what. Get on that treadmill when you can. Get out there and walk when you can. Do your weight training. That's right. Now it's time to get it back right. But we're not going to force nothing. You see, we're not forcing anything this go round. We didn't last time either. So God was just reminding me of what we're doing right now is a combination of the first time I embarked on weight loss and the second time. Now, this time is not necessarily for weight loss as much as it is for toning and getting nutrients back into the right spot of the body. But we are going to, as we burn fat and tone muscle, we're naturally going to fluctuate between the pounds, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's more for the toning aspect, overall health, things like that. So whatever your reasoning is, you don't want to force what's going to happen naturally. So with that being said, however it is that you embark on that journey, one day at a time, I will tell you this, that if we are consuming a bunch of junk food and trying to work out, that cancels it out, right? We got to eat healthier. Remember, eating healthier helps us heal faster. The enemy knows that. I know some people be like, well, it's way too expensive to eat healthier. Depends on how you do it. Because I'm going to tell you, it's not. I found out, because I deviated from the blood type diet a bit too much, I found out that eating the other way was more expensive. For me. So that was a no-brainer when I realized that too. I was like, oh. Because yeah, the worldly garbage, I want to convince everybody that it's too expensive to eat healthier. It's how you do it. Yeah, it's like, how do you do it? Because remember, Jesus said that he came so that we can live and live more abundantly. But we got to develop that abundant mindset. At the same time, not forcing what's going to happen naturally over time. So God guides our step. And we got to stay with it. Whatever it is he has given us, strategy-wise, regimen-wise, whatever. We want to stay with it. Because it's very important to not let anything or anyone throw us off of what God is doing. Because as we purge that subconscious to make more room for God's wisdom, right? Okay, so as we purge the subconscious, we start to become more aware, right? So here comes the and more part of the message. We become more aware of things that we missed before God awakened us to everything. And then we learn about the world stage. We learn about salt and its relationship to radio frequency poisoning. And then we learn about, oh my goodness, yeah, how our entire life we've been lied to about who we are. Been lied to about a lot of things. And so we have to relearn how to live in God's reality. It's just that simple. And I know that some people would be like, oh, well, yeah, viewing our content and deliberately not showing it some love. Thank you to all of you who do give our content some love. All right, thank you to all of you who do. To those who don't, I see them as the enemy automatically. That's the way it is. And I know that just because it's Michelle Dickey, oh, I ain't going to hit the like button because it's Michelle Dickey. Oh, yeah, I ain't going to, look at that. I ain't going to do nothing because it's Michelle Dickey. That is a narcissist for you. Okay, I just demonstrated the thinking of a narcissist. Because they're doing it out of jealousy, right? They're thinking like that out of jealousy. They don't realize that there's room on the world stage to be getting, really? Got to get right with Jesus first. That's the truth. Jesus is the only way to God. You got to get right with Jesus first before you can get right with God. No, you get right with God, but you got to have Jesus first, right? So, yeah, we hear a lot of evildoers out here say, "Oh, I've accepted Christ as my Savior." Have you really? Then why are you dishing out gaslight? Why are you sitting there with hatred? Why are you sitting there with jealousy? Why are you sitting there? Exactly. If you've accepted Christ as your true one and only Savior, should have no bitterness in the heart. That heart should not be bitter. Chosen one, spiritual warriors for Christ. That's why we never let all of that that's happened to us turn our hearts bitter. We never did. We couldn't do that. We turn our pain into purpose. That's right. And let me tell you, the enemy knows that when we do that, he better get out of the way. Yeah, better get out of the way of God's chosen one. When we find our voice again and we get up here, oh yeah, we ain't nothing putting us back under that cloud of cognitive dissonance. No. That's why our YouTube channel and Patreon channel are titled Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, for those who have not heard this yet. Those are the two fundamental components in the spiritual battle for the mind. But that's what we are in. Okay? That's what we are in. A spiritual battle for the mind. Narcissism and all the abuse, right? The traumatization, and then the cognitive dissonance that results from it, and is the very weapon that the devil uses to deceive and keep deceiving, right? Exactly. And so some of us go down the rabbit hole and we learn about, oh, wow. Yeah. We didn't know that about the demonic realm. Ooh, we didn't know that about the demonic realm. Oh my. Start to make more connection. And I'm going to remind y'all, one of the videos on the Patreon channel, I go into detail about the fact that the Great Awakening is not the spiritual awakening. Two very different things. And I mean very different things. But that narrative also went around in the 1950s. And that's all part of the matrix, right? Because the spiritual awakening and God's reality had nothing to do with what that Great Awakening is attached to. But a lot of sleepers got convinced that they were going through a Great Awakening, meaning they were going through the spiritually awake. No. That was all hype just to keep them trauma bonded to that actor wearing a silicone mask on the world stage. And so there you go. Okay, one more final short break. So stay tuned as we wrap this finale episode up. Yes, with not forcing things that will happen naturally. Right, not forcing things that will happen naturally. And more when we come back.
CHA's Patreon membership channel is another place you can support this ministry and work for as little as $5 a month. When you become a member of CHA's Patreon membership channel, you will unlock access to a lot of content that will help you purge that subconscious mind of worldly garbage to make room for more of God's wisdom. We have been lied to since birth about a lot of things. On CHA's Patreon membership channel, we make real-world connection to the spiritual realm and more. The link to CHA's Patreon membership channel is listed on the My Social page of the website at CDHRWDRMD.org, also linked in the description below. Thank you for becoming a loyal member of CHA's Patreon channel. Sending love and light always.
All right. Welcome back. Thank you for understanding, everybody. Yes, listen, God told me, he said, tap into the way they do stuff, but don't do it the way they do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like tap into the technique, but we don't have to do it. We don't do it with the narcissism side of marketing. That's the point, is that we are doing what is known as peaceful marketing. Kind of letting y'all know what's out there. Other places you can further support the ministry and the work. That's right. The Patreon membership channel is another great way to do so, because I will continue to bring you God revelation, things like that one right there. Don't try to force things that are going to happen when God steps in and says, hey, I need you to stop. Don't get ahead of God. And just let things happen naturally as they're supposed to. Because if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen, right? There you go. And so I'm going to share with you all that, that whole Great Awakening narrative tricked a lot of people into thinking they were undergoing a spiritual awakening. No, they are not. So there was a sleeper who thought that they were. And we have our t-shirt available at Consulting for Heightened Awareness where it says, I am spiritually awakened. Don't mess with me. For those of us who are spiritually awakened. Well, sleeper wanted to jump on and out of impulse wanted to buy that shirt. And I told him, I said, hold on a second. I said, I got some more stuff coming. Because I knew my conscience just would not let her buy herself a shirt that was not true for her. I just couldn't do it. And so since, she passed away, but I could not let her do it. Not let her get that shirt, because I knew she was not spiritually awakened. She was very much spiritually dead, trauma bonded to the P matrix. But because of that Great Awakening narrative, a lot of people got tricked into thinking that they're in the spiritual awakening and they're not. What is the spiritual awakening? Oh, it's definitely not unicorns and pixie dust. We can tell you that. The spiritual awakening is the lifting of the brain fog associated with traumatization. That's it in its simplicity. But spiritually, the spiritual awakening is all about God revealing things in the spiritual that we missed. That's right, while we were still in the upside down narcissistic matrix. We just didn't know yet. So spiritual awakening is all about where we start questioning everything. Everything we've been taught, everything we've been told about life, how we're supposed to live. Oh yeah, we start questioning everything. And that goes on in the spiritual awakening, absolutely. And so we have to relearn how to live in God's reality, which is the spiritual awakening, because we have to unlearn, purging that subconscious. We have to unlearn a lot of garbage. And never forget, the reason all that garbage got in there in the first place is because we had too much of an open mind. too much of an open mind. There's nothing wrong with having a somewhat open mind. You're like, okay, because we got to be flexible for God, right? God is a flexible God. And so to be flexible with Him, right, we got to have somewhat of an open mind. Because God might say, well, this is the better way to do it. Okay. All right, so there's where somewhat of an open mind comes into play. So we want to keep in mind that as we're purging that subconscious, we don't want to let that stuff get back in there. Because we learn, in God's reality, we learn that as part of the show on the world stage, that a lot of the history that we've been taught is a big lie, made up. A lot of it never happened. Not all, but a lot. Discernment. And that a lot of people got tricked into joining. We all did. We all got tricked into joining organizations. We thought we were doing the right thing by supporting the cause, when we realized that cause had been a problem on the world stage for as long as the world existed, pretty much, and that it's never going to get solved. So why do we want to support an organization that just keeps getting up there Groundhog Day over and over again, claiming to be fighting for a good cause, and there's our solution to all problems? Yes, there are, but they don't want to solve it because they want you to keep, that's right, they want you to keep donating to that organization while they claim to be activists, fighting on our behalf for this cause. Again, discernment, you all. But I cut ties with a lot of that stuff once I realized it was all part of the Dog and Pony Show on the world stage. All part of the control mechanism. Oh, another word, the endonism. Of the Matrix. Remember, the Matrix is a control system. That's what we mean by the Matrix. The movie is a great depiction. The movie is a great visual of what we are actually seeing out here to an extent. But when I say Matrix, I'm not referring to the movie. The demonic realm is the Matrix. It is a control system. It's all about control, the illusion thereof. And so we learned that that's not for chosen ones. So we learned that the the game of narcissism on the world stage, I tell you, it's something else. Once we start to connect more dots. And it's like, wow, okay. Because never forget, the devil does not want people to heal. He does not want people to heal from their trauma, because when we do heal from all the traumas and we're no longer triggered, that's right. We're not living in fear. So he can't get control of our minds. No more. Or the illusion thereof. That's what he wants. All right, you all? And so that wraps up this season finale, episode 12 of season 1 for the CHA show. So stay tuned for the premiere of season 2. I don't know when, but y'all will get the announcement when the time comes. But we are going to take a break. So we're kind of utilizing how other TV shows and seasons operate. So we're utilizing the technique, introducing you all to Consulting for Heightened Awareness, bringing you all messages, tips, and of course, it's structured for advertising as well. Because we got to do what we got to do. All right, everybody, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for the CHA show. Streaming on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, and Facebook at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, and Michelle Dickey. where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center. Yes, trauma healing and spiritual growth occur with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true technique, and more. Here and at CHAAcademyBTBW.com. That Academy link is also listed in the video description below for quicker access, so you all can hop on over there and check out what we have for you to help you level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.